The difference between a woman feeling intensely attracted to you and feeling completely repulsed often comes down to exactly 7 words. 7 words that most men either say wrong, say at the wrong time, or never say at all. And what I'm about to reveal will fundamentally change how you understand female desire, because the way most men express wanting a woman actually kills her attraction instantly. What I'm sharing today is the exact framework that separates men who create burning desire from men who create restraining orders. Let me start with something that might sting a little. 91% of women in a recent relationship study said they've experienced a man expressing desire in a way that made them uncomfortable. Not flattered, not attracted. Uncomfortable. That's almost every woman reporting the same problem. But here's the twist. Those same women also reported that when desire was expressed correctly, it was one of the most attractive things a man could do. The gap between getting it wrong and getting it right isn't about luck or natural charm. It's about understanding something fundamental about female psychology that most men were never taught. Dr. Helen Fisher, biological anthropologist and one of the world's leading experts on romantic love, has noted that women's brains process expressions of desire through multiple filters simultaneously. There's the attraction filter, the safety filter, the social filter, and the authenticity filter. A man's expression of desire has to pass through all 4 without triggering alarm bells in any of them. Most men fail at the first filter and never understand why. Before we talk about how to express desire, we need to address what desire actually means from a female perspective. Research from the Kinsey Institute found that female desire is more responsive than spontaneous. Women often don't feel desire until the right conditions are created. A man expressing spontaneous desire to a woman who hasn't yet experienced responsive desire will feel jarring or even threatening. It's a timing mismatch that creates discomfort instead of attraction. A woman I know described this perfectly. She said, "When a guy expresses desire before I've had time to feel anything, it feels pushy. But when it comes after he's created the right energy between us, suddenly it's exactly what I want to hear." So, what creates that energy? Let me break down 7 methods that actually work. Method 1. The slow build of intentional attention. Expressing desire effectively doesn't start with words about desire. It starts with attention, but not just any attention. Intentional, focused, discriminating attention. Women are constantly receiving generic attention from strangers, colleagues, and men everywhere. Generic attention has almost no value because of its abundance. What creates the conditions for desire is attention that feels earned, specific, and meaningful. A friend told me about a man she dated. He noticed that she always paused before answering questions. One evening he said, "I love watching you think before you speak. You can almost see the consideration happening." She said that single observation did more for her attraction than any compliment about her appearance ever had. The slow build works because it creates anticipation, and women are wired to respond to anticipation, often more than the thing itself. Method 2. The contrast between restraint and release. Most men believe that expressing desire means being forward and obvious. This approach fails far more often than it succeeds. Female attraction research consistently shows that women respond to tension, the space between wanting something and having it. A man who expresses desire too early or too completely eliminates all tension. And without tension, attraction often dies. Dr. Arthur Aaron found that uncertainty about a partner's feelings actually intensified attraction. Participants who weren't sure how much someone was attracted to them thought about that person significantly more than participants who knew for certain. A woman described this dynamic with a man she found intensely attractive. "He would have these moments where I could feel his attraction so clearly, but then he wouldn't immediately push for more. He'd give me space to process. It made me want him more, not less." The contrast between restraint and release is what creates emotional impact. Without restraint, release has no power. Method 3. The art of physical proximity without pressure. Physical expression of desire is where most men make their biggest mistakes. They either avoid physical expression entirely, becoming the dreaded friend zone resident, or they escalate too quickly, creating discomfort. Research on proxemics shows that gradually decreasing physical distance is perceived as more comfortable and attractive than sudden closeness. The man who slowly enters a woman's personal space, giving her time to adjust, creates desire. The man who invades without warning creates alarm. A woman told me about a first date where the man occasionally leaned forward when she said something interesting. By the end of dinner, she was hyper-aware of the space between them. She found herself wanting him to lean in and not lean back. He expressed physical desire without words through proximity and movement. Method 4. Touch that creates rather than demands. Touch is the most powerful physical expression of desire and the most dangerous. Studies show that brief, appropriate touch releases oxytocin in both parties. But here's what most men don't understand. Touch that creates desire is touch that gives rather than takes. Touch that takes feels grabby and demanding. It communicates, I want something from you. Touch that gives feels nurturing and connecting. It communicates, I'm enjoying this moment with you. A friend described the difference perfectly. I've had guys touch my arm in ways that made me want to leave immediately. And I've had guys do the exact same thing, in ways that made me want them to never stop. The difference isn't the touch itself. It's what the touch is saying. Method 5. Verbal expression. Through specificity, not intensity. Here's where I need to challenge what most men believe. The common advice is to be bold and direct. Tell her she's beautiful. Tell her you want her. But the method that actually creates the strongest response is almost the opposite. When a man tells a woman, you're beautiful, he's making a statement that could apply to anyone. It's generic and expected. But when a man notices something specific, the way she laughs at unexpected moments, how she moves her hands when excited, and expresses desire for that specific thing, something different happens. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that specific compliments were rated significantly more genuine and had greater positive impact than generic ones. Instead of, you're so beautiful, it becomes, the way your eyes change when you're about to make a joke. There's this flash of mischief. I find myself watching for it. A woman described receiving one of these expressions from a man she married. He noticed I always tilted my head when really listening. He said he wanted to say more interesting things just to see me do it. I'd never had anyone notice something so small. I felt more desired than I ever had from someone just calling me beautiful. Method 6. The vulnerability of honest expression. This might be the most counterintuitive method. Expressing vulnerability about your desire can be more attractive than expressing confident certainty. Vulnerability signals authenticity. When a man admits he feels something, not in a needy way, but in honest acknowledgement, it creates trust, and trust is essential for female desire to emerge. Dr. Brené Brown's research shows that vulnerability is actually perceived as strength when expressed appropriately. People who can acknowledge genuine emotion without crumbling into neediness are viewed as emotionally mature and attractive. Examples: I have to be honest. I'm finding it increasingly difficult to concentrate when you're around. Or, I wasn't expecting to feel this way. It's caught me off guard. A woman told me about a moment that shifted everything with her partner. He said, I keep thinking about you at random moments. It's completely disrupting my focus and I don't even care. She said the honesty, the willingness to admit she was affecting him, made her feel powerful and desired simultaneously. Method 7. Desire expressed through future imagination. The most sophisticated expression of desire involves not just the present moment, but the future. When a man expresses desire for experiences he wants to have with a woman, he's inviting her into a shared imagination that builds anticipation and connection. Psychological research shows that humans are uniquely responsive to imagined future scenarios. The brain processes imagined future experiences with almost as much intensity as present ones. I keep thinking about taking you to this restaurant I know. There's a spot on the terrace where you can see the whole city. Something tells me the look on your face would be worth everything. A woman described how this worked on her. He kept describing little adventures he wanted to take me on. Nothing huge, just a farmer's market, a hiking trail, a late-night diner. But the way he talked about these places and how he kept putting me into the picture, the desire he was expressing wasn't just I want you, it was I want us. So there they are. 7 methods for expressing desire in a way that actually creates desire in return. The slow build of intentional attention, the contrast between restraint and release, physical proximity without pressure, touch that gives rather than takes, verbal expression through specificity, the vulnerability of honest acknowledgement, and desire expressed through future imagination. None of these methods are manipulative. They're the authentic ways that genuine desire, when properly understood and expressed, creates mutual attraction. The common thread is respect for female psychology, understanding that women process desire differently than men, and that safety, anticipation, and authentic connection are prerequisites for attraction. The men who understand this become the men that women actually want to be desired by, and that distinction matters more than most men realize. Now, everything I've shared today assumes something critical. It assumes you can read whether your expression of desire is actually landing. Because a woman who's responding to you, who's feeling the attraction you're trying to create, will show signs. Signs that most men miss entirely. And this is exactly why you need to watch what's appearing on your screen right now. The video titled 9 Hidden Signs She's Secretly Fantasizing About You, She Can't Stop Thinking About You, reveals the exact indicators that tell you your expressions of desire are working. These aren't obvious signs. They're subtle, often unconscious signals that women give when attraction is building. Without understanding these signs, you're expressing desire in the dark, not knowing if it's creating connection or discomfort. With them, you have real-time feedback that lets you calibrate your approach perfectly. Click that video now because expressing desire correctly only matters if you can recognize when she's desiring you back. That video shows you exactly what to look for and what you're probably missing right now.